listening to the Reckless Takes Podcast, covering sports, lifestyle, and nearly everything in between. Buckle up, boys and girls. It's time to get reckless.
Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by freezersports.com. Whether you are a new or experienced sports gambler, if you have not used a consultant site, you are missing out. Freezersports.com utilizes advanced machine learning technology to predict sporting events and find you value lines. Visit the website today, that's freezersports.com, to view their predictions from their NHL, NBA, and MLB models, all for free. Yes, for free. Freezersports.com.
Shut up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Reckless Takes podcast. My name's Kyle. I'm here with my co-host,
Randy, aka the Giblet King, coming back at y'all with another episode of the podcast, being clapped to sing song.
He just immediately slams into his boom arm, which I was just like, hey, Randy, don't touch that.
I broke
And
it.
we are
Your
here,
line's fucked up.
joined again by special guest Josh.
AKA the Sangha da Bunga.
Sangha de Bunga.
Yes, sir.
That's what a lot of people call me.
Just
I've been called
absolutely
that many
incoherent.
times. Thanks for having me, guys.
Randy, do you have any other ideas for my nickname? Have you come up with anything?
Oh, yeah. Kyle, AKA you mess with my girl, I bust you in your throat.
We were trying to figure out a
Really
nickname for
rhyme.
me. We were on the nickname generator, and there was nothing but like mean, hurtful things like Chubby Kyle and stuff like that. I didn't like it. I was like, nah, you know what?
Chubby Kyle.
I'll just be Kyle. All right, guys. So we have we're gonna talk about a wide variety of things today, from NFL, NBA to WWE, a little bit of boxing. I want to start off real quick. I want to have a couple things on the MLB. First of all, Randy, we talked about your Red Sox, number one in the league in the power rankings. Anything that's caught you off guard about the Red Sox?
No, because I have faith in my team always, my friend. We're going to the World Series. Write it down. It don't matter. They don't play. Red Sox winning the championship. You know?
All right. Have you been keeping up with Mike Trout's season at all?
I have not. I'm not going to cap with you, my friend.
Dude, Mike Trout. Okay, I want to talk about this really quick. Mike Trout, pretty clearly the best player to ever play. It's pretty cool to get to be around. I mean, I feel like we're around for a couple of the best players ever. I mean, LeBron, there's still a conversation, but we could possibly be seeing LeBron, the best basketball player ever. We're seeing Mike Trout, probably the best baseball player ever. And then, Brady, I don't know if he's the most skilled player ever, but, Brady's pretty clearly the best football player ever if you go based off just winning.
Damn.
Okay.
I'm looking.
I'm gonna fucking take these cats out of this room. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna pause it really quick.
You fuck.
Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. I had to abuse my animals. Just kidding. No cats were harmed in the making of this video. So as I was saying, Mike Trout, he has been the best player in baseball, I think, for the past 3 or 4 years. Probably the best player of all time the past 2 or 3 years. And this season, he's just getting better somehow. So I have some of the stats here. He's top 3 or number 1 in wins above replacement, slugging, batting average, and on base, and number 1 in adjusted OPS, runs created, and adjusted batting wins. So, yeah, I mean, the Angels, they're still a shit team. They're still a shit organization. They're supposed to be a lot better this year, and I think they're last in the division, or tied with the Rangers. But, yeah, do you have anything on Mike Trout, Randy? Are you familiar with his career at all?
Yeah, I know who he is. I keep up with him. This season I've really been working, and But I'm looking at his stats right now, and sheesh.
He's leading in just about everything, or top 5 in just about everything.
But you know who's leading in home runs?
Ohtani?
JD Martinez.
Oh, is he really?
Well, it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
tie. It's a tie.
Another
Damn.
thing, Giancarlo Stanton, who has been absolute dog shit the past couple of years, he has made a turnaround. He's looking like an MVP player again. In 2017, he was one of the best hitters in baseball, 59 home runs, 132 RBIs. But the last 2 years, he has played a total of 41 games, only 36 hits, 7 home runs. And this year alone, in 30 games, he has 35 hits, 9 home runs, 24 RBIs. So he's he's looking like a real player again. The Astros just had to play him, and he absolutely lit the Astros up. And that was just a train wreck of a series with the Astros playing in front of the Bronx for the first time since the cheating scandal. So that was a tough series, but they pulled out the last game. Altuve hit a 3-run bomb on his birthday, so that was nice to see. But the last thing I have on baseball, we talked about the new baseballs a couple episodes ago. So I have these notes here. So you can see, so these are the no-hitters in baseball starting in 2012. There were 7 no-hitters, 4 no-hitters, 5 no-hitters, 6 no-hitters. And then in 2016, there's a clear drop-off in no-hitters. This is when the balls were changed to be juiced. So in 2016, there was 1, and then 1, 3, 2, 2. And this year, we're at 4 no-hitters, and we're on pace for 14 no-hitters. I don't know if we're going to get 14.
We probably will.
But we're at 4. Wade Miley just had the 4th no-hitter. And Wade Miley is, not a top of the league kind of pitcher. He was on the Astros a couple years ago.
Well, he got caught cheating.
He got caught cheating?
Well, not by the MLB, but there's a video of, a bunch of pitchers are doing it this season. They have some type of substance in their damn glove. Apparently that's helping.
Pine tar or like something else?
Nah, apparently it's something else. Like, that's why we're having so many no-hitters, that all these pitchers are using it. And
well, so I think it's just that last year the balls were juiced and so many players complained, and so they made an alteration. And it's just, it's just looking a lot better for pitchers this year, because the past couple of years, it was impossible to pitch a no-hitter. And now all of a sudden, we're on pace for the most in history. Just think it's interesting. So we'll be keeping track of that throughout the year.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to NFL.
I wanted one more thing. See, I don't keep up with stats that much, but damn, I'm looking at stats, and there's a bunch of Red Sox in the top 5, sucker.
Yeah, it's surprising, but Martinez and Bogarts,
and even Rafael Devers, doing work.
They have a good lineup. If their bullpen and their starting lineup can keep up, like, the lineup is set to succeed.
Yeah,
and they have the best record going into this week, so we'll see. All right, NFL. So let's start off with Tim Tebow.
Timothy Tebow.
Later this week, he'll be the tight end, presumably tight end 1. The Jaguars. He's fighting with O'Shaughnessy, but it's not really much of a competition. And what's your first reaction, Josh, to that? You have anything?
I feel like that's just weird. I would have never expected him to play any other position other than quarterback. So, if they feel confident enough to, give him the reps, and I don't know about you think tight end 1, really?
Yeah.
He hasn't even been in the league in how long?
There's no competition really.
Their competition is shit.
If there was anyone else, if it was any other team, it'd be a fight for tight end 1. But right now, the tight end listed as number 1 on their depth chart had 6 catches last year. So it's like, whatever, and Urban Meyer has experience with him, knows him. So
it makes for at least entertaining, like, ticket sales.
Exactly.
At the very least.
Exactly. Tim Tebow's from Gainesville, or not from Gainesville, but he went to college in Gainesville, and that's about an hour away from Jacksonville. So at the very least, it's a great move for fan attendance, and people are gonna love it. So, Randy, what do you think?
Back when I think the Eagles were his last team. Back when he was with the Eagles, he was wanting to switch over to tight end because obviously he wasn't too great at quarterback. But I don't look at it as a great move. He's 33 years old. Who knows what kind of football shape he's in?
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about it, you're like, is that really helping your rookie quarterback, Trevor Lawrence? I know they got DJ Shark and whatnot, but is Tim Tebow really going to help you at that tight end position? Can he even block?
Yeah. He's a sizable dude. He's 6'3". I have to imagine he's around 250 or so. Let me break this down for y'all. Check this out. This is the dream scenario, right? I love Trevor Lawrence, and I want him to succeed. But imagine this. Imagine the Jags are like a middling team. They're like 6-6 or something. And Trevor Lawrence goes down, right? And then all of a sudden, and then say they ship off Gardner Minshew, right? And he's not there. And all of a sudden, you need a quarterback. And Tim Tebow, he goes into quarterback, and he leads his team to the playoffs. Can you imagine how awesome that would be to watch. Like, obviously, Tim Tebow is going to be ranked last in quarterbacks if he ever plays quarterback again. But it would just be cool to watch. He's a great like emergency quarterback. You know, like what happened to Denver last year where they didn't have a QB and some receiver had to play. Like Tim Tebow is your best scenario for that situation.
Or he goes in and just plays like dog shit and throws 10 yards over the receiver.
Well, he'd be better than a Denver emergency receiver quarterback who hasn't played since like freshman year of college, you know.
I guess
he at least like led teams to championships as quarterback.
He's for sure like throwing some, like he's lining up in a formation that's going to have him throwing the ball.
Yeah, like some kind of wildcat
like
at some point.
Some sneak plays. Yeah.
Yeah. I see it more like I think more teams are doing this, like the Taysom Hill route, because it's successful, obviously.
Yeah.
That worked.
But I think that's a role he's going to be in. He's definitely going to be playing a lot of special teams because Urban Meyer's a special teams.
Yeah, Urban Meyer is a huge special teams guy. And well, the thing will be if Tebow doesn't win tight end 1, he'll absolutely be on special teams because if you're not a starter, you're on special teams for Urban Meyer. He's huge special teams guy. That was always his thing, was even some of the first string receivers and running backs would be on special teams. So I do want to talk about Lawrence real quick, actually, because no one is talking about Lawrence's fit, because he was the lock draft, right? Like that's not a cool story. He was the lock number 1 pick. Everyone's talking about Fields or Wilson or whoever's next. So I want to talk about Lawrence. I mean, the fit isn't terrible. He has weapons. He has Etienne, Robinson, and Hyde at running back. He has Chark, Marvin Jones, and Chenault at receiver. And I have down here he needs a better tight end, and that was before they signed Tim Tebow. So I mean, who knows? We'll see how Tebow is. And then the coaching staff. I mean, Urban Meyer, he's not to be scoffed at. He's 187-32 in college. And every year in the Big Ten, he led the offense to number 1 in yards per game, except for one time. And he had these quarterbacks who ended up not being real NFL prospects, and he made them look great. You know, you have Cardale Jones, JT Barrett, and Haskins, and he made them all look like NFL prospects. And once they got there, it was clear they weren't. His offensive coordinator and his passing game coordinator were on the Seahawks for a combined 9 years, and that's a pretty successful offense all the time. I mean, I think I think it's gonna work, and gonna work will probably translate to like 5 or 6 wins. But you know, that's success for a team that won 2 games, 1 game.
I think they have a really great chance to win the division. That division is absolutely dog crap, besides the Colts, but who knows what Wentz is going to do. And is Derrick Henry going to be able to run like he did last season? And is Ryan Tannehill going to have the success? This is Deshaun Watson going to be the damn quarterback? What's going to happen? But they have a chance to win the division.
At least make some noise. Yeah.
It could be like the NFC division.
Mm-hmm.
All right, your turn.
I feel like Lawrence is going to the system is going to be shaped around him. Hopefully he has all the tools, and I mean, he has physical tools, it looks like, but I feel like there's really it's an odd fit to think about because they don't really have anything there, there's nothing in Jacksonville. So I feel like the fit is going to be around him. They're going to everything's going to have to work around him, and then, they'll move pieces.
Yeah. I mean, he's the kind of prospect that, you can justify making moves based solely off of his skill set. And you have to. He's your only hope right now,
And you got good players there. You have decent players.
Yeah, there's weapons.
But I feel like he is without a doubt their most promising player. So it should be fit around him.
Randall, any other notes on Lawrence?
I mean, he's gonna be solid for me. I really like DJ Shark. I think him and DJ Shark are gonna freaking light it up. I loved him when he was in LSU. I loved him even with Gardner Minshew and Nick Foles. He's solid.
The thing about Shark is he needs to become a better route runner if Lawrence is going to succeed, because Shark he's pretty much the streak or nothing guy, right? And he's, I've had him in fantasy a couple of years. It's awesome when he catches that 87-yard pass, but he needs to be a more consistent post catcher and comeback route guy. He needs to show more pass running chops for Lawrence to actually succeed, because Chenault is not going to carry the offense. Marvin Jones Jr. is good, but he's going to be an under route guy, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Marvin Jones is going to be your route runner right there. I mean, if you look at it, Terry McLaurin's not like the best route runner either, but he's still getting the stats up. And I see DJ Shark and him kind of like the same. I really like Shark. I really think, especially with Trevor Lawrence isn't like any rookie. He's going to come in and kind of be like that veteran. Mm-hmm. He's already has like a veteran type mindset.
Yeah, he's never lost a regular season game in his life.
Oh, that's changing for damn sure.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get about 6 of those at least.
They also have Philip Dorsett.
9.
They have Philip Dorsett, he's pretty solid.
Yeah. Colin Johnson as well.
Colin Johnson's a sleeper. The dude can catch. Mm-hmm. He's an okay route runner. I like him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
anyone from Texas, I'm like, yeah, I like him. He's good prospect.
He's the best, top 10. But I mean, looking at the O-line, the O-line's pretty solid. The tight end position is like the only position I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I would love for him to have a big tight end that is guaranteed catch over the middle, because that's any struggling quarterback can always go to that tight end spot, and so that's the iffiest thing on their roster. But yeah, I mean, I like what they have going for them. It's one of the more promising number one pick teams I can remember of recent. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's talk about Rodgers. So I did a couple of things here because I wanted us to have a couple of teams that we could see Rodgers going to. I'm sure we have a couple of repeat teams here, because Rodgers' timing on this was really weird, because he waited until draft day when all the war rooms already had their quarterback set. And it was just, I think that his camp thought it was going to go a lot better than it did. But if you've done 3 months of quarterback studying, you're like, no, we're going to go with our guy. We're going to go with this guy we have picked. So I did some market value research for Rodgers and kind of got an idea of the last couple of quarterbacks to get traded and the last couple of big players to get traded to see what the market was. It's not as crazy as I was originally thinking. So, for example, Matthew Stafford, obviously an inferior player, but Stafford drew 2 firsts and a third. And you can kind of say that was more situational because the Rams had to get rid of Goff. Tannehill drew a 4th and a 7th, so that's way down. Hopkins was a player, a 2nd and a 4th. And Stephon Diggs was a 1st, 4th, 5th, and 6th. So I'm thinking the market's somewhere around 2 or 3 firsts and maybe a 2nd and possibly a returning quarterback. Let's see. Let's go through the teams here. Josh, before we get into the packages, who are your teams that you could see him going to?
I have 3 teams. I have the Washington football team as one of the top ones. I think the top one for me. Denver Broncos and Las Vegas Raiders. Okay.
Randy, who are yours?
The Washington football team, of course. I'm not saying that's the top one. Mm-hmm. And then I have the Broncos, who I think are the top one. And then the Raiders, and then the sleeper that no one's really even thinking about, Miami Dolphins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the Dolphins, I didn't have them down, but I considered it. I read an article recently about they're the most likely to succeed if they get Rodgers, and the Broncos are probably second. But I have the Broncos, Raiders, and football team in that order. So for my trade packages for the Broncos, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of repeating here. We'll just list our favorite trade package for them, and so we don't have to go through all of them. My favorite is probably the Broncos, ideally based on, and I also looked into some past quarterback packages, and this is kind of based off of that. So I have a Broncos 2022 and 23 first, Teddy Bridgewater, and then a conditional pick in 2024. And this is based off of the Brett Favre trade to the Jets in 2008. So what they did was they had a conditional pick depending on the standings of the Jets that next year. So this would be a conditional 2024 pick where essentially it's a 2nd round pick if the Broncos go to the Super Bowl, 3rd round pick if they make the playoffs, and 4th round pick if they miss the playoffs. So I think something like that would be incentivizing for both teams. Randy, what's your favorite package?
For the Broncos?
Any team, your favorite package total.
I think the Broncos have the most they can really give. My
Mhm.
package for the Broncos, I was like, what's the one thing the Packers struggle with the most?
Mhm.
And so I'm thinking, so I thought Jerry Judy, 2 first, the 2022 first, the 2023 first, and maybe a third or fourth pick.
If I'm the
Third or fourth
Broncos,
round pick.
there's no way I let go of Judy because
Rodgers over
I know it's,
Judy.
but who's Rodgers going to throw to? I mean, I'm not relying on Sutton alone. If
You
you
gotta
give up
throw to
Judy,
Noah Fant.
yeah,
No
like
fan, Tim Patrick.
I'm sorry if I'm not taking 2 years of Rodgers over a Judy career, you know. And I think if you get Rodgers but you give up his number one weapon, that's just counterintuitive in my eyes. Josh, what do you think?
I just like Washington the most because I feel like putting Rodgers in Washington just sets him up really well. I think he's got great weapons if he's there in Washington, and then the defense is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So
Do you have
I
a
don't really
package in
know a
mind?
package. I don't know a package for them. That's just the team I like want him to
Mhm.
see. But for Denver, I was thinking 3 firsts just because of who Aaron Rodgers is.
Yeah.
I was thinking 3 firsts and a player, but because I don't think I can't see them sending a receiver back to Green Bay because I mean I feel like Devontae Adams is like who
Yeah.
else can you really send? I feel like they have decent 2 and 3 receivers, but
Mhm.
I was thinking
Yeah.
maybe Noah Fant goes like a tight end or something.
Yeah,
But
or
they've had success with their backup tight ends in Green Bay, so it's weird. I don't know.
yeah, to me it's just like send Teddy back just to give them some insurance if Jordan Love does struggle, you can still try to compete
Yeah, you need a
because
quarterback if
the
you're getting rid of
Cheeseheads,
Rodgers.
they're
So.
ruthless. The Packers fans will not allow a losing season. So if Jordan Love goes out there and struggles, they're not going to be easy on him. You know, it's not a situation where you can just kind of let it work itself out. You're going to have to throw in an experienced guy if he starts struggling.
So you don't think they give away Drew Lock over Teddy? They just brought Teddy in, didn't they?
Yeah, I
What
think
would be
that
the?
Drew Lock is more promising as far as upside than Teddy. But if you're Green Bay, you want to get back
I feel like
that.
Green Bay wants the upside, wouldn't you say? Like
Well, so
wants
but
the
Jordan Love is already their upside. You know what
But
I'm
they're
saying?
not they're not gonna trade for a quarterback. First off, they've already said they don't want to trade him.
Yeah.
So the package has to be absolutely crazy. That's the only reason I said Jerry Judy. They're not trading for Teddy Bridgewater. If they're trading Rodgers,
Well, it'll be 3 picks.
I feel like you
and
have
Teddy
to say
Bridgewater.
that you're not going to trade him. You basically have to say you're not going to
Yeah.
trade him because if you say you're going to trade him, then his value
All
goes
your
even
leverage is
worse than
gone.
it already
yeah,
is.
but you're not. You're the front office is already thinking that Jordan Love's their guy. Obviously, that's why they took him, and they're not getting Teddy Bridgewater in 3 first. They're gonna want something. If not a receiver,
3
then
firsts is a lot, man. And
yeah, but
and
the Packers don't give a damn about draft picks. They've obviously sucked so bad. That's why they're in the situation that they're
so
in.
I disagree, man, because today's world of being a GM is about getting picks, and the main reason is picks buys you more time as a GM. Because if you give away a player and you get picks back, you're buying job time because they're like, how can we evaluate his job as GM? We don't know what these picks are. And so you at least have until the pick goes through, you get the guy and you see what the guy turns into. And so, like, for example, the Thunder, they have 21 draft picks in the next like 4 years. And we're going to have no idea if Sam Presti's a good GM at least until 6 years from now. Because if those picks turn into nothing, they don't get a star, they don't get rookies, then you can judge his job. And so that's why I think that picks matter 3 times as much because there's no player that the Packers are going to get in return that's going to be more valuable to them than Aaron Rodgers.
I think it is going to take 2 to 3 picks, but they have to also give a pretty good player, and it's not going to be Teddy. It's not going to be Drew Lock.
I think if they get a player back, it has to be defensively because what's the point of giving up your number one weapon to get a quarterback?
I was also thinking maybe Von Miller. They're looking to let go of Von.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to me.
What if Denver I didn't really think Denver needed another cornerback. They drafted Surtain.
Mm-hmm.
What if they send him back a promising, young?
I mean, honestly, I don't know if I'd be that opposed to that. I mean, if you send Surtain, you're taking away a first round pick probably because he's essentially a first round pick. He obviously was, but he should act as one in the trade. So maybe like a 2022 first a 2022 second, and then Surtain, and just try to get Rodgers that way. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty promising for the Packers. All of a sudden,
I feel like you would still throw in a quarterback just for insurance.
Yeah.
Just for insurance.
And, all of a sudden the Packers have picks. They have the Jordan Love guy. And then you also have Surtain and Alexander lining up at corner. That's a pretty nasty defense. Yeah.
But whoever gets them
intriguing.
they're going to have to give up a ton anyway. Whoever gets them,
it
is.
I like the Raiders too. They don't have their first next year, but 2023, 24 first, a second, and Derek Carr.
Yeah.
That's at least intriguing.
If they do trade with the Raiders, Derek Carr is definitely going to be in it. He's a better quarterback than Bridgewater and Drew Lock. So, I mean, to me, that's who you give up if you're the Raiders, because Derek Carr can still ball. He can still go to the Packers and ball out. But to me, it's just like, I don't think they're going to trade for a quarterback, but why in the hell would you trade Rodgers and then get a quarterback in return when you traded up to draft Jordan Love?
The quarterback is mostly just insurance. Like, you're not trading for the quarterback. You're trading straight.
It can't be the main piece of the trade.
Yeah. Because there's no.
It has to be insurance.
Mahomes and maybe one or two other guys are the only guys that are actually more skilled than Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that's all I have on the NFL. Do you guys have anything else that's interested you since the draft?
No.
Nothing like crazy. Oh, yes.
Go for it.
We're on the Broncos. Juwan James, the offensive lineman,
that just got hurt off-site.
How do y'all feel about them potentially not paying him?
So
the full season?
For anyone who doesn't know, here's a story. He sat out last year. He opted out for the COVID clause, and this offseason he was working out off-site and towards ACL. And so since he was not working out at a team facility, the Broncos have the option to not pay his salary. To me, if I'm a GM, that's a really quick way to lose your locker room, is to not pay a guy because he was trying to come back healthy, trying to get back in shape just because he wasn't in your building. That's a really easy way to lose all of, I'm sure he's got homeboys in the locker room, and they're going to be pretty upset if their guy's losing out on $10 million because he was trying to work out for the team.
It wasn't even like the Broncos locker room either. The whole NFL started voicing their opinion.
Yeah.
Just because they can't work out on site because of COVID protocol. So it's like, where the hell else are they going to work out? You want your guys to come in out of shape?
Exactly.
If they don't pay him, the Broncos are going to have a shitty season because the locker room is just going to.
Yeah. Josh, what do you think about that?
I think you just need to save face, and if you have a developed relationship with this player and everything's good and the books look good for whatever reason, there's no reason not to pay him. I mean, you're just gonna have people pissed at you and have the media covering the story. So
and John Elway is a player's guy. He's I can't imagine him telling him he's not going to pay his salary. Elway, that's how he's made his career as a president in football operations, is by being the guy that the players can go talk to and being a recruiter. And you lose a lot of recruiting power when you have that on your resume, All right, let's go to the NBA. First off, I want to talk about really quick. We did MVP voting a couple episodes ago, and I had Embiid. You had Jokic, Josh. Who did you have, Randy?
Jokic.
Jokic, okay.
The Joker.
So it's pretty clearly run away with Jokic. He's he's probably going to be unanimous. It'll be close at least. This stretch of games since Jamal Murray going out, been pretty insane. Everything's going right for the Nuggets, and it's all centered around him. The only thing that's been bugging the shit out of me is how much he complains. They don't show this on the highlights very much, so it's kind of have to be like a league pass thing. But he complains after every fucking play, and it drives me nuts. I was watching his games because I was playing him in fantasy basketball. Josh had him, and not only was it pissing me off having to watch him score every single play, but just every single call, he won't get back on defense because he wanted some little tip foul. You have Kevin Durant's little skinny ass guarding him, and it's like, dude, he's not fouling you. But other than that, I mean, he's amazing. Everything on the team runs around him. I really enjoyed watching Campazzo. He's
fucking tore it up.
He's insane, and I have this down right here. He's everything that we wanted out of like a mixture of like Teodosic and Prigioni, a couple of other overseas guys that never worked out all the way, but he knows where to be. He passes the ball really well, and he works really well with Jokic. Yeah, Josh, what have you thought about Jokic's undisputed rise to MVP?
Well, I'm really happy with Jokic as of late because he won me a fucking fantasy chip.
Yeah.
Kyle's team went 16-0. Everybody didn't lose a game. I was
also
Kyle was in first place, by the way.
I looked it up.
Ahead.
You outscored me one time the entire season before this fucking week, and
we played twice before, and I lost badly both times. And this guy goes 16-0, fucking 2012 Patriots over here.
It's very fucking upsetting.
And the third seed, the underdog, Josh, rises.
I would be so mad if I were you that our commissioner didn't collect money. You should.
I didn't win anything. I won nothing. Win just pride.
Because our commissioner didn't collect any money. I think he got $20 out of one person. So you should be $200 richer right now.
Pretty pissed.
But you're not gonna get a.
I'm glad
dollar.
I beat Kyle.
Yeah. You better buy him dinner.
I'm buying him shit.
I'm so glad I beat Kyle because he was like, he was talking shit the whole fantasy season. He's like, I'm the fucking, and he was the best. He would trounce opponents.
Clearly the best. It's really upsetting. It's very upsetting. And next season, I don't know if I can say I'm going to draft completely differently, but I definitely drafted some guys who were either going to be on tanking teams or were going to be on really healthy teams and had no reason to play towards the end. I had Embiid and Simmons who are going to be number one seeds, and I had a couple Thunder players who are obviously going to just fucking tank for the next like 3 years. So I don't know if I can say I'll draft differently because I went 16-0, but I need to fucking think about the finals next year because that's just not happening again. I'm going to come back hard as hell.
That shit was legendary. Anyways, about Jokic, he's just gotten better like every single year that he's been in the league. And substantially better, I would say. Like every year he's just coming out different. I think it was last year or the year before there was some questions about his weight. He looked really, really bad for
2 years ago
there. But like you said, everything just runs through him. He sets up every play in the half, like when the ball's in the half court, he's the one who's setting everything up. He's just fantastic. He's a great passer. He's a great scorer.
I figure out why there's a heart emoji on Randy's screen. I was like,
he put it up when I said that I beat you. So I think it was just some shit like that. Yeah, Jokic is fucking awesome, dude. He's great.
Yeah.
What a damn beast he is.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like he lost a ton of weight last season. He got even more in shape this season. And if he needed to, he could play an entire game. So I'm really excited to see how many minutes he plays in the playoffs and what effect that has when he has to play up to 7 games in a couple weeks of really, really tough basketball. So yeah, I'm super excited for the playoffs and to see the Nuggets. But let's go into the all NBA.
I didn't want to comment at all on Jokic and the undisputed
you
MVP.
said what a beast he is, and so I thought that was your comment. Please go ahead, sir.
No, that's crazy.
That's all you get.
I know, what the hell.
Please go.
He's a beast, man. What can I say? I really think he's like, if he was slept on a few years ago, but people need to wake the fuck up because Jokic is a fucking stud. But he did play last season, 1 playoff game or 2 full games. He didn't get out at all in a playoff series. I'm not too sure who it was against, but I watched the games and I was
probably
like,
the Jazz.
I think it was the Jazz. And I was like, what the actually, it might have been the no, never mind. You weren't in it last year. Never mind. But that was no shade. But I was like, wow, this big, because he was kind of a little chubby last season too.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this big fucker just did that.
Mm-hmm. That series was insane.
10 minutes.
Yeah, we played basketball last night, but we were both sweating like hell within like 5 minutes.
I was sweating my ass off.
We were just playing with like
I do want to say
high schoolers.
Where?
Oh, just some fucking random the at our fiance's mom's house. Like we're playing outside in the driveway with like these little fucking kids.
I'm dead.
What were you gonna say,
But
Josh?
I will say it was fucking bullshit what Nick Wright said earlier this week. That like Jokic is the worst MVP candidate in the last.
Oh my god!
I saw that.
Shut up,
I'm
man.
sure if I
What the
went
fuck?
through, I could find someone worse. I mean, that's
I
that's
guess he's not
ridiculous.
like flashy.
Yeah,
He's saying
like-
that. Well, the reason he's saying that is because every year it's like either Curry or LeBron,
or
and
Harden.
those are obviously like generational players. And so Jokic isn't quite to that standard yet, but like he's still at the beginning of his career. He's obviously going to be there when it's all said and done, barring any injuries. But yeah, I mean that's just because he's not fucking LeBron or Steph.
I mean, I'm looking at the list right now. Like,
well, LeBron hasn't won since like 2013.
The like previous like MVPs, and I mean, if you look at all of them compared to Jokic,
well, you have like what Giannis, Harden, Steph,
Giannis,
KD.
Harden, Steph, KD,
Yeah,
LeBron, Derrick Rose, Dirk Nowitzki, Kobe Bryant.
I could
Steve
argue
Nash.
Derrick Rose was the worst MVP
Derrick Rose.
we've had in
Derrick
20
Rose
years.
is the worst.
I'm sorry,
Oh my fucking
Derrick Rose's
God.
career up to that point was built off of jumping really high, and that's about it. Like he had a great season. He's definitely a worse MVP than Jokic as far as that season goes, and his career would have not turned out to be, even without the injuries, his career wasn't going to go a full 10-year Hall of Fame career, because it was Westbrook it's been a miracle Westbrook hasn't gone down like 20 times. Randy's just fucking changed his background. It's a miracle Westbrook. It's a miracle Westbrook has lasted as long as he has.
That was fucking motherfucker. I can't believe you said that shit.
It's not an unpopular opinion.
It is. You're gonna get a lot of hate, bro. I'm just letting you know right now.
An unpopular opinion to think that Derrick Rose is overrated.
Bro, come on. Derrick Rose was a stud, bro.
I'm just saying his
For
career
like
would
3
not
years.
have gone the way that Steph or Westbrook has. He was jumping 10 feet in the air every play.
And he was hitting buzzer beaters. He was
Yeah.
fucking going with
He was
LeBron.
All I'm
Bro,
saying,
come on, bro.
all I'm saying is his
Come
career was not going to turn out the way that everyone thought it was.
Okay, but that does all right. I get what you're saying, but you're going off of that saying he's the worst MVP candidate. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
Hell no. You know what? I'm gonna look up his stats right now for his MVP season. I'm gonna fucking punch you next time I see you.
Okay, but give me the actual stats, not just his points per game. I want to see.
I'm gonna give you all stats. Yes, sir.
Effective field goal percentage. And while you're doing that, look,
Suck a fat one.
the other MVPs, you have Steph, KD, Harden, Giannis, LeBron. Derrick Rose is absolutely below all of them, 100%. And Jokic is the one in question. But I think with this last run without Jamal Murray, it's pretty undeniable that he's below Jokic.
And then we'll still get to see Jokic, like how his career plays out.
He's only 24 years old. Yeah.
Rose is still doing good things. Like he's still a productive
He's
player,
a replacement level player. Yeah.
But he's not, all-star.
He's not even
close.
He's not a real starter even.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he's
I
like,
don't know about the starter, but like
I'm not saying like he's like a beast right now, but
You have his stats there?
that season was just so it was 2010, 2011, 25 points per game.
It's already pretty low for an MVP. Just saying.
That's back in the day though. That's back then,
Back in the day.
It wasn't a score league,
Okay. And then what was this like 2 point percentage and 3 point percentage? I bet his 3 point
and he's
percentage.
A point guard. How many assists?
I bet his 3 point percentage was like 32, which isn't terrible.
Yeah, it was 33. It was 33.
Okay.
Field goal
fucking close.
was 45.
It's a little low, man. What is his 2 point percentage?
85? No, not 85. Where the fuck is it? It doesn't say 2 point.
All right. Well, anyway.
Assists were 9 a game.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Oh, that's pretty good.
But I'm gonna stick with it. I think Jokic is better. As
I'm
far
not
as
saying
as far as their MVP seasons compared, I think Jokic
is 26, 10, and 8.
Jeez, man.
but I can't. But I just cannot believe you're
8
saying
and a
that.
half.
Okay.
So.
Who was making their team better? Obviously, Jokic. Jokic
Derrick
makes.
Rose.
Yep.
That year, Derrick Rose. All right, I'm gonna give you some
they
more
went
stuff.
they went far in that.
They were like
They-
6.
MVP year.
No, but no. But well, what I was actually saying was who was making their teammates better is what I meant. Like who was making the overall team play better. Everything
Derrick
runs
Rose.
around Jokic. Derrick Rose was a black hole in offense, and
my
those
God.
stats are like those assist numbers. Those are like Westbrook assist numbers.
That's
Forcing,
the reckless take of the game.
He's
believe
forcing the
this shit.
ball into other people's hands at the end of shot clocks and stuff like that.
That was
But,
the most
like,
reckless shit.
Westbrook's 15 assists a game. It's like, okay, cool. Are you gonna say he's like one of the better facilitators in the game? No, he forces the ball last minute into people's hands and they have to shoot, and they're gonna make some of them. And when your usage is like 40%, you're gonna get 9 assists.
I just can't believe it.
I can't believe
They went 62-20.
Uh-huh.
His team wasn't
Damn.
even a good team.
What was the team last year? What was the team previous?
They
What
had
was the record
Joakim.
previous
They had
year?
Joakim Noah.
The previous year, 41-41.
Damn. Okay.
He had a decent team though, at least.
He had Dane.
He had Carlos Boozer, who was still
But-
like just barely come off his prime.
Not compared to the Nuggets.
Joakim Noah was the number 1 defender in the NBA at the point. I didn't think he had a decent team. The Nuggets, Jokic doesn't have his second best player.
He scored 2,000 points that season.
It's to be determined. Randy has kind of talked me into like the Bulls were better than Derrick Rose's season was better than like I'm giving it credit for right now, but it's to be determined if who's going to be better. I mean, Jokic is amazing,
Sticking
dude.
with it.
Jokic is
Yeah,
amazing.
I love Jokic, and he's the MVP. But for Kyle to come and say Derrick Rose is the worst MVP to win,
It hurt you. It hurt you
And
hard.
and I'm only going
No,
back
you're-
to 2010. I'm not going further. I'm not going further than that.
No, you can't even count back in the day because it was the same person. It was Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan,
Okay,
Michael
well,
Jackson.
something exists between
Michael
the
Jackson?
90s and 2010. I'm talking about like even the early 2000s. I'm not even considering that.
So you think that Rose was a worse MVP than Dirk Nowitzki?
What year did Dirk win?
I think it was like the year after. I'm not 100%
Okay,
sure.
well then that would be up for
I
debate
think
as
Dirk
well.
Dirk might be.
That would be up for debate
like
because Dirk was another guy who was an amazing player, like top 5 power forward most likely, but didn't really make his teammates all that much better.
I'm so sad that you really like. I'm not.
I'm not a
like,
huge Derrick Rose fan at all.
Me neither.
I
Me
don't-
neither. But I respect his game. One of the most iconic moments. I don't even remember. Like for me watching NBA, I'm not even a big Bulls fan, but I'm not even a Bulls fan. But it was against LeBron. I think it might have been against the Heat when he was with the Heat. It might have been Game 6 or Game 5.
Yeah, the game winner.
Yeah, that was fucking stud-like for me. That was like, holy shit, Derrick Rose is the real deal.
Yeah,
And then he tore his ACL, and then, obviously I cried.
it was
you
bound
know.
to happen. That's what I'm worried about John Morant. It's because John Morant looks a lot like a young Derrick Rose, just jumping as high as you can every play. And I don't know how long it's going to last.
But I think John Moran can shoot a lot better than Derrick Rose, too.
John Morant's a
I don't know, a
pretty
lot
bad
better.
shooter. He's a pretty bad shooter. That's his most consistent part of his game. His 3-point percentage is pretty fucking low. But I think Ja has a higher upside than Derrick Rose. That's pretty fucking close. I don't know.
No. You might as well just go ahead and say that because you already said he was the worst MVP ever to make it. So
Okay, but like to say you're the worst MVP is like there's only 20 guys who have done that in the
Right, you know
past
what?
20 years. And
Go
so
ahead and
to be the
write
worst
that
of the
down.
best is still pretty fucking good.
Right, go ahead and write it down. Go ahead and write it down your little reckless takes thing.
Okay, what's that gonna go?
Derrick Rose, the worst MVP ever.
The reckless takes list is for things that are gonna get proven wrong. What is Derrick Rose gonna come back
God.
next year and score fucking 30
Son of a gun.
on his prosthetic leg?
His May
Randy.
stats are pretty solid too. I'm not gonna. It's like 23 points a game and blah blah. I just can't
Randy.
believe you said that shit.
Randy, have you ever thought about cosplaying as Kevin Owens?
Yes.
All right.
All right. All right.
Oh
So
my God.
as if Randy already getting pissed enough, let's go ahead and do the all NBA teams because I think this is gonna be fucking hilarious. I can't wait to
my
hear
God.
Russell
just,
Like,
Westbrook,
well, Damian
Russell
Lillard's first team.
Westbrook
CJ
and
McCollum's
Lillard first team. All right.
Oh,
So
man.
I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. So I think that we should do first NBA guards, second NBA guards, third NBA guards.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I hear my fucking vacuum in the background? Turn that shit off. Josh, go ahead and give your first team guards.
First team guards, I have Stephen Curry and Luka Doncic.
Okay. And by the way, Josh, are you going off of the new rules? The adjusted rules of player eligibility?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so if anyone doesn't know, the NBA adjusted some of the position eligibility. So the rule was essentially created so that Embiid and Jokic can both be all NBA first team. So several players that you might not consider guards were made eligible. LeBron, Tatum, Jaylen Brown, sorry. Chris Middleton are among the guys who are eligible for guard and forward. Pretty much anyone who's a forward but also shares ball handling responsibilities. So keep that in mind when you're hearing these. So you said Curry and Doncic, right, Josh?
Yeah, that was my first team.
Randy, who's your first team guards? You're on mute, my friend.
I am on mute. James Harden and Curry.
James Harden and Curry. Okay. So I have Curry and Kawhi, and obviously Kawhi is typically a forward, but if he's eligible, like I'm gonna put him. And the reason I did that is something we'll get into later. Is because I had to make room for someone else in the first team. So Curry, Kawhi. My second team, I have Dame and Harden. And if you guys are wondering about Luka, I had him in a forward on one of these teams. Josh, who are your second team guards?
Second team is the exact same as you, Harden and Lillard.
Harden and Lillard. Team. Okay, Randy. Westbrook.
Westbrook and Lillard.
Well, might as well just jump into this right now. Westbrook does not belong on an All-NBA team. He is a fantasy basketball.
I had to move him. I had him in there.
You had him in third team.
I had him in third team, and then I decided to change him out for someone else.
Okay, so who's your third team?
Irving and Beal.
Okay, I knew that Beal was gonna be in there for you because anyone that's on your fantasy basketball team, you root for them a little heavier. I don't have
Beal's
Beal
like
on here.
Second in scoring.
He is
in the league.
He is. So, man, you guys are gonna hate me for this. Randy, who's your third team guards?
Third team, Donovan Mitchell and Chris Paul.
Mitchell and Paul. Okay, Mitchell is a tough one. I didn't even consider Mitchell really. I think that
I consider Mitchell over Beal.
It's hard because his team has been amazing all season. I just think that I gave a lot more of that credit to Gobert and their defense. But my third team guards were Chris Paul and Trae Young, and everyone knows that I'm a huge Trae Young guy.
I considered Young.
He had an extremely efficient season. He got to the line at a clip better than almost any player in the league. He took a Hawks team that was off to a really rough start, and they're a commendable middling playoff team now, almost entirely off his back. DeAndre Hunter went down early. That was a huge blow. I want to get back to Westbrook, though. Randy, give me your Westbrook shtick for having a second team guard.
Look, I get people are going to say he's not a team player, blah, blah, blah. He's a ball hog, blah, blah, blah. I get it. You don't have to throw it in my face, okay? But to average a triple-double for so many years, and tonight he can break some record. I didn't fully read it.
It's the record for most triple-doubles.
Yeah, like I know people are like with the first season, people are like, oh my God, he averaged triple-double. And now everybody's like, okay, it's getting old. But like the fact that he's still doing it and he's been on 3 different teams now, to me is just like really amazing. I get it. He's not a team player. I get it. But
to me, it's not just about the team player aspect. That's important. But my thing is his last 2-minute report is one of the worst in the league. He makes the most mistakes at the end of games on defense and offense. His field goal percentage, I'm looking here. He is below average, below league average in field goal percentage by 2%. And that's just, I can't have a guy on my all-NBA team who is below league average on almost anything.
Well, that's why it's my all-NBA team.
Okay, well,
Trae Young's got to be below average in defensive rating at least.
You're right. He is, but the reason I didn't consider that as much is because point guard is the least important defensive position.
And James Harden's the worst defensive player ever to play the game. So one of them. And so when like Westbrook also not a very good defender, unless it's counting stats. But yeah,
that comes more into play with the centers. But yeah, Westbrook is just, to me, it's empty stats, and he's fun to watch, and he's making the Wizards better in this late run. That's for sure. I just can't consider him in the All NBA. Josh,
I considered
it was
Westbrook.
close.
I considered him, and just because I like Russ. I like Russ a lot. I think he's a hooper, dude. Like, I think he just goes out there and fucking does the damn thing like every night.
Yeah, you can respect that at least. He doesn't care about people talking about shit like this, right?
No, yeah, and that's what I like about him. And I don't think there's a lot of players like him currently. He's kind of like an old school player. I remember there was a Kobe said that like who like he saw the most of himself in, and he said Westbrook. And
he's like, that motherfucker don't pass at all in the beginning before Westbrook was his leader.
But yeah, I just think he doing like averaging a triple double and getting all these triple doubles. That's not easy. Like, it's not, regardless of like, that's a hard thing to do. So I think I had to cut him out because I thought Irving deserved it. I just think the skill of Kyrie Irving is unlike anything I've ever seen from a guard. He has like the best handles that I've ever seen like a guard play with. He makes some of the toughest, like most acrobatic shots. That I like Irving a little bit more than Westbrook.
I'm really curious that you took Irving over Chris Paul. Depending on Kyrie's been out a few times for personal reasons, and I get it, but man, Chris Paul has led that team. Okay, Randy is gone. I don't know what happened there.
I'm still here.
Okay. Chris Paul has led that team to a number 1 seed. It hasn't been a transcending season from Devin Booker. I did consider Kyrie, but I definitely had to go Chris Paul over him.
I think that's a good argument. If I had to move somebody, it would be Beal, and I would put Chris Paul there over Bradley Beal.
Okay.
But Beal has been super productive in a terrible environment. And I just think he's an elite scorer. Like, he literally gets a bucket on anybody, dude.
Yeah.
And he's a smart player too. I mean, he's really not a good defender at all, but I just think he makes smart drives to the baskets, and I don't know. I like Beal a lot. So Chris Paul probably deserves to be in there, but I'm gonna stay with Irving, Beal.
Okay. So, but we all did agree on Curry, Dame, Harden at some point, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Harden was the only one that had any chance of slipping out just because of the Houston thing in the beginning and then some missed games here at the end. But I mean, when Harden does play, he just elevates everyone's game. He's really, really lifted himself up to that playmaker role really well. All right, let's go to forwards. So first team forwards, I have Giannis and Embiid. And Embiid is obviously only in there because of the eligibility change. I see what the NBA was doing. I don't like that they changed the point forward and guard thing, but I get what they were doing with wanting to include Embiid and Jokic both because they both had incredible dominant seasons. So yeah, I'm gonna go Giannis and Embiid. And it might make more sense here. Obviously, Jokic is all of our first team centers. It might have made more sense for me to just put Jokic in the forward spot here because Jokic is more a point forward than Embiid. So I'll do that. I'll say Giannis and Jokic are my first team forwards. Josh.
We have the exact same thing for first team. I have Giannis,
okay,
Embiid, and Jokic all in the first team.
Okay. Randy, what do you got?
I have Luka and Giannis.
Okay.
I know why you didn't put Luka. I know 100% why you didn't put him in the first team. But I like Luka, man. That dude's such a dog. Like, he's such a pure talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Luka leads my second team forwards. It's LeBron and Luka. You guys have the same? Or no. Josh, do you have the same? No, who do you have?
No. Doncic was in my first team guards. So first team or second team forwards, I have Kawhi Leonard and Julius Randle.
Okay. Yeah, I put Kawhi as a guard. So does that mean LeBron dropped down to third team for you, Josh?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about that. Are you going based mostly off of the missed games?
Yeah, missed games, definitely, because I mean, if LeBron was playing the whole time, he would probably be a contender for first, probably second team. Mm-hmm. And the Lakers have slacked without him. But I just think Julius Randle's season is undeniable. Like for me personally, The Knicks I always have thought of the Knicks as one of the worst franchises ever since I've been a basketball fan. So to see someone come in there and, lead a young team, they got veterans, but a predominantly younger team, and have the season that he's having and being the 4th seed, that's a big accomplishment to me. And I just think his season's been unreal. So I think he deserved the nod at second team forward.
Okay, one more time, Josh. And who are your third team forwards?
Oh, I didn't do third team. PG-13 and LeBron.
Okay, Paul George. So Paul George squeaked in. That was a tough omission for me. Randy, who are your third team forwards?
First off, you didn't even ask me my second team. You just forget about me today. So it's LeBron and Kawhi. And then my third team, I have KD and Julius Randle. I wanted to put Julius in the second team, but just knowing the NBA, I already know they're going to put King James in there. They suck his big wang too much. But I do love Julius Randle. Me and you agreed on him being the comeback player of the year or whatever, or most improved player. Yeah. Julius Randle I think this season he's stud-like. And then if the Knicks get in the playoffs, and if they do anything in the playoffs, it's going to be because of Julius Randle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just to go over one more time, it's a little confusing here. So my first team, Giannis and Embiid. Second team, LeBron, Luka. And third team, I went with Randle and Butler. The closest fight of the whole thing was Butler and Paul George, because they both had really similar seasons. The teams both struggled without him on the court. I ultimately gave Butler the edge because his team's on-off metrics were a lot better than Paul George's. The team was a bottom 3 team in the league on defense without Butler on the floor. Clippers weren't quite that bad. So Butler he clearly lifts that team to a different level. They struggled a lot in the beginning of the season before he was healthy. So I gave it to Butler. And then let's go to centers. We all have Jokic first team, right?
Yeah.
Jokic or Embiid. I'm assuming we have Gobert second team.
I have Gobert second team.
Boy. Okay, Randy. Who's your?
Well, because Embiid wasn't in my first team, so
so you didn't go by the new rules.
So I did some of them. I did the new rule, but I have Embiid on my second team, and then I have Gobert third team.
Okay, interesting. Okay, cool. I have Embiid and Jokic first, Gobert second. Josh, who's your third team center?
Domantas Sabonis is my third team center.
Fantasy guy. I know. I should have guessed that.
I really, because I put Embiid and Jokic in my first team. I put Gobert in my second team. So third team center, I was like, Clint Capella. I considered Clint Capella, but I went with Sabonis. I know he's more of a 4, but he plays a center as well.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, the position is definitely makes sense. So to me, obviously center and power forward are the most important defensive positions. Clearly center is the most important. And Sabonis really struggles when he gets down the paint. I think he's number 2 or 3 in field goals allowed and percentage allowed at the rim. I went with Adebayo. He's had a lot of ups and downs this season, but I think that he's really good at pretty much everything. And he's just struggling to find what he's great at. But he's a good shooter. He's a good playmaker. He's a decent defender, average defender probably. I'm waiting for him to have that breakout and find what he's great at. But for now, I think third team center is a good spot for him.
I'm surprised none of us did y'all even consider Karl Anthony Towns or
I considered Anthony Davis over Sabonis, but not Towns.
Towns and Davis missed way too many games for me.
Mm-hmm.
Towns missed, it must have been at least 20 games.
What about Robert Williams from Boston? He's third. He's third in the center for stats.
And for what stat?
It's just like a
just
player.
Randy's got a page.
I
just called
I did not
stats.
even think of him.
Player efficiency rating.
No, I would have him up there for most improved. Is he a rookie or is he a sophomore?
He's a sophomore.
Right?
He's not a rookie.
Okay, yeah, I would have him for most improved because he's gone from no one knowing who he is to being a legit contributor on a playoff team. But no, he wasn't in consideration at all for my all NBA teams.
I considered Clint Capella.
Yeah.
The only reason I didn't is because he was with the Rockets and then he complained about money. So it was more of a spiteful thing.
It was more personal.
Yeah. But the Jimmy Butler one, I did think about Jimmy Butler too because
I did not consider Butler.
I consider Jimmy Butler over KD just because KD, Harden, and Irvin really haven't like impressed me this season.
They missed a ton of games.
Yep. Especially Irvin. I didn't put Irvin just because he missed so many damn games. But when he's on there,
that's fair.
When he's on the court, he is freaking ridiculous. But to me right now, basketball's not his number one priority at all.
I kept Durant out of the three Nets players. I kept Durant off. I had a hard time doing that. I picked PG-13 over Durant.
Yeah, Durant I struggled with. Man, Kyrie and Durant, I'm really concerned for the Nets because I feel like those are two guys who could retire right now and be totally fine. You know, they're guys that they're hoopers, and I believe they love basketball, but they are very in tune with themselves. They know how to make themselves happy without basketball, and I feel like they could retire right now and be totally fine. You know, I feel like you know, the LeBrons and the Karl Anthony Towns, these guys are really emotional about basketball. Like, it's just a different kind of player, and there's nothing wrong with it. And it's kind of like what Trevor Lawrence was saying. That's all the judgment that he got from saying that he loves to win, but it's not what defines him, you know? So some people are encouraged by that. Some people are worried about that. I'm a little worried for the Nets going forward. I think they're going to be fine this playoffs, but I'm a little worried for them going forward.
If they don't win the championship, or at least they're not in the finals,
they need to win the championship. You're right.
That has to be the biggest disappointment of a team that's ever been.
The only excuse is if the Lakers get healthy, then it's like, okay, well,
not even then. I just feel like not even
the defending champions, and it's LeBron.
I get it, but not even then. Like, when you have a team,
you need to win.
You have a team of Harden, Kyrie, and KD, three of the top shooters in the league probably ever. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're not winning with that, then there's some issue going on within y'all three, because even their bench is really solid, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, they have at least average contributors.
Really quickly, I want to notable players that I left off. We discussed a little bit of them, but that could, it's a discussion based on who gets in and who doesn't. I have Chris Paul, Donovan Mitchell, and Jason Tatum as, notable players that could be mixed in.
I originally had Tatum. It was a process of elimination. It was Tatum, Butler, or PG-13 for the last forward spot. And so Tatum was the first to go out of those three and I don't think it's his fault. I think had COVID not happened, because he was really, 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 really vocally affected by COVID. He has an inhaler that he has to use now. So I think that had that not happened and he had not been himself for over a month, he'd be in a lot better shape in the All-NBA standings. But Randy, do you have any notable leave-offs? Or I didn't write those down.
PG-13. That's really it.
Yeah. Hopefully Paul George can sustain this going into the playoffs because he looks a lot better. And I don't want him to have another choke fest.
They need him to be better. They need him.
Or he's going to be probably somewhere else next year.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Clippers and Nets are in the finals. I've changed it from the last time we were here. Clippers and Nets are in the finals, and I think the Clippers win the finals this year. I
would love to see the Clippers in the finals, man. I want to see. I enjoy watching Kawhi on the biggest.
I do.
Scale.
He comes through on the biggest stage.
He knows how to win. He knows how to get a shot at the end. I think he's my favorite player in the NBA as far as getting your shot in the last 2 minutes of a game. KD's really good at it. LeBron's really good at it, obviously, but Kawhi gets that mid-range turnaround and it's just over. And he doesn't need anyone else's help to do it. Yeah. Just get out of his way and then he'll get there. So we'll see. So the last thing on the NBA I have is I'm curious as for you guys' thoughts for your teams, the 6 through 10 seeds, 7 through 10, those play-in mixed teams that you wouldn't want to see the most as a higher seed. I worded this a little strangely in the notes, so I don't know if y'all were confused, but
we don't want to say if our team had to play them, we were scared.
If you're the Suns, right? You're the 1 or 2 seed. Who do you not want to play? And let's go with the West, for example. So the West, first off, obviously they have the Lakers right now. That's a team that if you see in the first round, it's the worst situation possible, and it's a nightmare, right? And so the Clippers, if you have to play the other LA team in the first round, you're like, oh my fucking God. So I have the Lakers because that's an obvious one, but then also Golden State. They've struggled a lot. They're not gonna have Clay. Draymond is hit or miss, but at the end of the day, with the second half of the season that Curry's had, you don't want to see him in the playoffs because any given night he can score 50 and will his way to a win. So that'll be mine. It's Golden State. Randy.
The West. Oh, go ahead, Randy. My
bad. Yeah, Lakers. So it's 7 through 10, right?
6 through 10, 7 through 10. Anyone in the play-in mix.
So the play-in is 6 through 10.
It's 7 through 10, but I just kind of put 6 in there because fuck it.
The Trailblazers, since they're at number 6.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go again. Yeah, I mean,
I think that's the team you want to see the most.
I see.
Trailblazers.
I agree. I would completely agree.
I just can't believe y'all right now. They're 7-3 in the last.
Okay, Memphis. I put Memphis below them, but I would love, if I'm the Clippers, I would love to see the Trailblazers.
I can't believe you. First the Derrick Rose shit. Now you're just bantering all over the damn Trailblazers. Oh my gosh. Is this our first argument on the pod?
It's because
I can't believe this shit.
Lillard can go off, but it's not to the extent of Curry. It's just not. I also put the Spurs just because look, like they're not the Spurs of old, but it's the kind of thing where Randy, we talked about this last time and you agreed with me, so shut your fucking mouth. He puts the surprise face. It just feels like one of those things where the Spurs can cause trouble because they're the Spurs, right? You have Greg Popovich, you have just a winning culture. That 2-7 series a couple of years ago, where a 2 and a 7 typically it's an easy, at least gentleman sweep for the 2 seed, but it went to 7 games because the Spurs are the Spurs and they just find a way to win games. So at the very least, I wouldn't want to see them in the play-in tournament. What about the East? What do y'all have, Josh?
Well, for the West, I didn't say the West.
Oh, my bad.
Oh my God, Kyle.
I feel like this. I mean, I'm a Spurs fan. We're all Spurs fans here, but I feel like you want to see them. I feel like the team is not at this point right now where you're scared of them in any way. If you're a higher seed, I feel like you can really take advantage of the Spurs as of right now. I mean, they do surprise me. They do surprise me from time to time, but I don't know. I have LA, and I don't have Golden State there because I feel like Steph is the only play. Like, it's like, do you not want to see Steph? Like,
Yeah,
Golden
exactly.
State, they're fucking scrubs, honestly. The team around Golden State is around Steph minus Draymond and sometimes Kelly Oubre when he does well.
Mhm.
I don't think that's a scary team at all. I think Memphis is. Honestly, I think Memphis has that grit, that, that shit that they're always talking about, but they have this underdog mentality where they always beat up on a team that, was expected to beat them. I feel like they have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think Memphis is scary in a play-in game, but I think if by some miracle make it out of the play-in tournament, it's a sweep in a series. When you have time to plan for them and to really dig in your heels and play them 7 times, I think it's really easy. I agree in a play-in game where it's everything on the line or we go home. That I agree. Like Jaren Jackson, John Morant, John Durant. You got a bunch of shooters around him. Yeah, I agree that's a scary team.
With respect to Steph, because he deserves it. He's fucking awesome this season. I wouldn't want to play Steph Curry. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't want to play the Warriors. I wouldn't want to play Steph Curry.
Well, he is on the Warriors.
Yeah, but the Warriors fucking suck.
Yeah, I'm not scared of the Warriors at all.
I'm
scared of Steph, but he's not gonna
He's
not gonna score all 100 damn points.
I didn't say like you don't want to play Andrew Wiggins. Steph Curry's on the Warriors, and so I don't want to play the Warriors because Steph.
But
comes
like,
with them.
I'm trying to disrespect the Warriors while also trying to respect Steph.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
The Warriors aren't a good fucking team.
Whoop the Warriors, man.
But as far as the East goes, I wouldn't want to play Boston or Charlotte. I'm not really too scared about Washington. I think Charlotte's just got that. If LaMelo Ball plays and everyone's like,
if Hayward plays, this is a big one to me too.
Mm-hmm. If Hayward plays and everyone's clicking, I feel like Charlotte is pretty decent. We saw them in person this year, Kyle, and they were beating the shit out of us.
They sure did.
Without LaMelo Ball, so
yeah. Rozier has a factor to go off at any moment as well.
I mean, Washington, they could have big games. Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal could just, go absolutely apeshit. But
Yeah. I'm about
I
to
don't
give
count on
Randy
it.
a boner and give Washington some respect here. Yeah, I have Boston and Washington as the teams I wouldn't want to see. And I think both of those teams are terrifying. I feel like the East at the top, except for the Nets, they're very susceptible to any of these lower teams because they just don't have that proven playoff experience. And so if I'm the 76ers or the Bucks and I have to face Westbrook and Beal in the first round, I'm at least a little nervous, right? My hands are sweating. And Boston too, they've struggled all year with identity and whatnot, but you still have, when you have Brown and Tatum with a bunch of solid players around them like Fournier and Kemba Walker, who I always forget about, but still was one of the better point guards in the league at one time. Yeah, those are two teams that I wouldn't want to see if I'm anyone except for the Nets. And even the Nets, like, your KD, you don't want to have to go through all that Westbrook like playoff drama. That's gonna be at least a tiring first round for an unhealthy team. Randy, what do you think about the first round?
I got the Wizards, the Heat, and the Celtics.
Mm-hmm. So the Heat are 6 right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of going more off of last season. They're pretty much the same team. I think they're still solid.
Except for Hero looks like
a way worse Tyler Hero.
Yeah. It's because he's all into the fame and rap game shit and all that shit. He's distracted.
That rap game.
But Jimmy Butler's a scary dude.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's more if I'm scared to play Jimmy than like the Curry thing. I'm scared to play Jimmy.
And I mean, who knows? Like, Bubble Hero could come back, right, under the pressure. And now that everyone's counted him out, maybe that gets him going. Duncan Robinson lights it up. Adebayo can turn into he can turn scary all of a sudden.
I was kind of scared to put the Celtics just because they are They're a choke fest in the playoffs. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
They couldn't win with Kyrie. They can't win with them, Kemba. We're like, fuck me.
Yeah. They've really struggled with being the team that everyone gets to beat up on in the regular season. And even the Spurs were kicking their ass until they all of a sudden like manifested a 30-point comeback.
No, you were so pissed.
That was a very fucking upsetting game. All right, that's all I have on the NBA. Randy, you want to lead us into your favorite segment?
Damn, I forgot. I'm not gonna lie to you, I forgot all about this segment. But since we're talking about basketball, are we still going to the Spurs game on the 16th? Would you like to go, Joshua?
I have
been invited.
No plans to go to that game.
Wow. Me and you we said Spurs Suns, and now you're just gonna fuck me.
Oh well, you know what? That's a Sunday. I am off. I'm down.
Can't believe it.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
we're gonna get off the episode to go to the Spurs game.
So that's next Sunday.
Yeah, we never do that.
All right, well, we need to buy tickets.
Let's do it right now on the air.
No, let's do it on Wednesday.
Okay.
All right, now let's get into the best segment of the show, the Pile Driver.
I'm gonna make you a bumper. Honestly, I planned to make you a bumper and I forgot.
Bumper?
Next time, like a sound bite for when you say that, but I forgot.
I got it.
Now I'll just give you whatever this one is. There you go. Welcome to the Pile Driver.
Hell no, bro. How about I got you, bro? How about this one?
Right now, get 49%
not
off
this.
from 4 to 9.
Fook, cut it out. Cut that out.
I'm not cutting that out. This is all staying in.
Damn it. I don't have YouTube TV.
There's 2 ads.
You can put this in there. This segment. Not this, but you see.
The quality's coming through all terrible. I can't hear anything.
Can't even hear it. You can't even hear shit.
Okay.
Jam it out.
Randy, let's get into the Pile Driver.
I'm pissed. Y'all can hear it. It was Seth Rollins' theme song. Burn it down. All right. This week on the Pile Driver, we're going to be talking about Backlash or WrestleMania Backlash. This, we're going to give our predictions, what we kind of think about it in the storylines. And then in 2 weeks after this Sunday, not this Sunday, we'll come and talk about it. But the next Sunday, we'll talk about the results, see how we did. To be honest, I'm not too excited for the WrestleMania Backlash. What about you, sir?
No, it's a stupid fucking name too. I don't know why the hell they have to put WrestleMania in the name. It doesn't make sense to me. But
next, it's going to be WrestleMania Extreme Rules.
Right.
And the card is absolutely donkey shit.
I don't think the card's finished yet, but what it
really
has so
you're
far.
really hyping me up for this segment. I'm
No,
not
like-
excited, and it looks like shit.
I mean, we're gonna talk shit about the WWE whenever it comes time to talk shit.
Yeah, you have to.
The pile driver segment is all uncut. All right. We're gonna put salt on the damn wound. But let's go ahead and get into the card. It's not many matches so far. We still have Monday Night Raw tonight, and we have Friday Night SmackDown Friday. So let's go ahead and talk about the first match. Well, I don't know if it's going to be the first match, but it's going to be for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. It's going to be Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, or Robert Roode. Sorry, back in TNA days.
Robert Roode.
Robert Roode versus Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic Mysterio. I'll let you go ahead and start us off with your prediction, sir.
I'm gonna guess that the Mysterios win here. WWE is so garbage with their tag team division. I guess Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio are like an actual team, but the tag team division's bullshit. You have singles wrestlers just being grouped in with other singles wrestlers and not really caring too much about like teams. I guess Mysterios, if I have to pick, Mysterios win here.
Yeah, the tag team division, both on Raw and SmackDown, are absolutely dog shit. But I'm going to actually go with Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. And I'm going to do a little reckless take here for the WWE fans. I believe when the Mysterios do lose, Dominic Mysterio will turn heel on his father.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, I feel like WWE likes to fuck a lot of shit up, and they're going to do that. Let's be honest. I
don't want to see that.
Eddie. I mean, I don't want to see it either. But, you know, they went as far as to disrespect Eddie Guerrero after he died with Randy Orton segment. They're definitely going to be okay with breaking up the father and son.
Yeah, for sure. It's just not exciting. Like every week, WWE TV, I'm just really not invested in it too much. They do a poor job of like getting you excited for anything. A lot of the matches on Raw and SmackDown are just, you know, repeat matches that we've seen weeks before, or, you know, rematches from pay-per-views
Every week, man.
Yeah, it's just every week, and it's tiresome. Like this week's SmackDown was claiming to be a throwback show.
Nothing
and it
throwback.
Really wasn't. I mean, there was augmented reality of like the SmackDown fist, and then they used like the old like WWE logo. It wasn't even the scratch logo or the anything. It was like an older logo. And it's just weird. Everything about WWE TV is just boring. The commentary on both Raw and SmackDown are, you know, Pat McAfee's okay on SmackDown, but the other newer gentleman on Raw is just, you know, he doesn't really fit.
I miss Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I miss Samoa Joe too, but yeah, I'm really not fucking happy about WWE.
Me neither, man. This is absolutely dog shit right now, man. Like, I was excited because I thought we'd see at least a few older wrestlers, but all we got was fucking Teddy Long. Like,
Teddy
come
Long.
on. Like, fuck me, man. Like, I like Teddy, but come on. At least give me Cena. Bring me Cena.
Something. But again, like we've said last time, the only redeeming quality or redeeming aspect of watching WWE TV is Roman Reigns, and anything that they do with Roman Reigns is pretty badass. And it's pretty entertaining. So I'm excited for, I think on the card, we have Reigns and Cesaro for the Universal title. And then we got the Usos, you know, kind of in the mix right now with Roman Reigns about where their allegiances lie. So
yeah, I think we'll see a Jimmy and a Jey Uso one-on-one match very soon.
Possibly. I think that could be, you know, one of them is not really aligned with the family. So we'll see what happens. But I know we're not going to see Cesaro win here.
Hell no.
I know we're not. I think he should. He should. I mean, I don't know if he should beat Reigns, but like if he wins by some bullshit and then drops it like a month or two later, I wouldn't be too mad just to give Cesaro a title win. It doesn't make for good like storytelling, but I think Cesaro deserves a title win at some point.
Okay.
But Reigns probably wins here.
All right. Yeah. So since we're already on that, let's go ahead and give our prediction. So you're going Reigns?
Sadly, yeah, Reigns is going to win here, but I wouldn't be mad if Cesaro wins off some bullshit.
I would love to see Cesaro win. if he does win, I think Jimmy Uso comes and fucking super kicks Roman.
Roman Reigns, yeah.
But I just don't see it. From what I'm hearing from a lot of rumors, is Roman's gonna hold it for 2 years, all the way up to WrestleMania Hollywood. I mean, it's cool. I like it. We saw CM Punk hold it for a long time, Cena, Edge, but I don't know if I can be behind Roman for 2 years as a champion.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking that he's gonna lose it to Jey Uso with the Money in the Bank cash in. But I would absolutely go nuts if Cesaro wins here, and I would love it. I would fucking love it, actually.
And I don't think there's any reason to pull that off right now, especially on a Backlash pay-per-view for your hottest guy to drop the title. It's just not a big enough pay-per-view for your guy to drop it, but we'll see.
Alrighty, let's go on to the next one. The one match I'm least excited for. The triple threat match for Raw Women's title. We got Asuka, we got Rhea Ripley, and Charlotte Flair. Not too excited because I feel I already know the damn outcome to this match. Unfortunately, I'm going to go ahead and say that Charlotte Flair is going to be the winner. What do you got on this one?
Oh, man. I hope that's not the case. I think Rhea retains. I think Charlotte Charlotte's going to hit something on Asuka. Rhea will throw her out of the ring, something like that. And then Rhea gets the pin. But I would be pretty upset if Charlotte wins. There's no reason for her to be champion right now. She's done everything. She's held everything, and for a long time too. So I think Rhea needs to retain here.
Yeah, if Charlotte wins the WWE Universe, that might be the last straw for a lot of people if Charlotte comes out and wins.
Right.
Alrighty, let's go on to the next one. The SmackDown's Women's Championship. Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Again, I'm so tired of seeing the same females in the match. Bayley, Sasha Banks, Charlotte. I do think Bianca Belair retains. If they take it off Bianca Belair on the Sunday, that might be the last straw for me. I'm not going to lie.
I honestly like Bayley, and I like her. I like what she's doing right now with the talk show kind of gimmick. I like it. I really have every champion retaining their belt on this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that is a bad thing, and they're going to swerve us with somebody dropping one, but I don't see any champion needing to drop their belt at this pay-per-view. So I have Bianca winning.
And then the last match that's on so far, triple threat match for the WWE Championship. We got Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. I have Lashley retaining here. I don't see them letting Lashley drop it at any point. If they were going to give it to Drew, they should have done it at WrestleMania. I do think we're going to see a Bobby Lashley Brock Lesnar feud very soon. It's just whenever they're going to do it. But I do think Bobby Lashley wins here.
I think if Backlash is notorious for doing these multi-man triple threat matches with the two dudes who were in the main card at Mania, and then they just add somebody to make it a little bit more interesting. So we always get triple threat matches, fatal four ways, whatever it is at a Backlash or Extreme Rules, whatever follows WrestleMania. But I think Lashley is probably the most likely. If anyone's going to drop their titles, it'll be Lashley. But again, I don't see that happening. I don't want it to happen, but I guess I'm going to say Lashley retains, but I wouldn't be surprised if he drops it to Drew. Strowman, no way. No way.
Oh, yeah. No way in hell. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so far, those were the only matches so far on WrestleMania Backlash. I think they may add a United States title match, maybe an Intercontinental title match. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, we still got tonight. They may add AJ Styles and almost a match, but I doubt it.
We'll see.
But now that we're done with that, obviously this may have been a very boring segment of the Pile Driver. We can talk a little bit about AEW. I did watch some of the highlights, and Kyle is a bitch for changing our names. I don't know if you've seen that, but
me has little PP and Kyle's bitch.
I was very bored.
Can I be Kyle's bitch?
Yeah, can we
switch them?
No trades.
Yeah, dude, let's talk some AEW. Let's talk some actual good wrestling.
I mean, unfortunately, I was not able to watch it, but I did watch on the highlights. I love that Chris Jericho's old ass took that bump, even though you can tell it was fake. Like when he hit it, you could tell it was on the damn mat. But
Yeah,
it was
that's where a lot of
Wait,
bullshit's
wait.
coming
So
from.
something was fake in wrestling?
Yeah,
fake.
right. It's
What
pretty
the-
shocking.
Kyle, you better mute yourself, you little punk ass bitch.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, it did the rounds online where people were really pissed that the bump looks really weak. I mean, he fell off the cage from the top onto padding, and like, I mean, it looked like styrofoam padding. And for all the things that AEW does right, they do a lot of things wrong too.
Yeah, they got a lot of
and
learning.
they got a lot of stuff to fix. And a big thing with AEW is their production. The production of the show isn't always the best. I remember one week there was like fucking audio from an NBA game during a whole match. Like it was just kind of messed up. And AEW has messed up finishes, like big finishes to end the show pay-per-view before. The Kenny Omega electric barbed wire match with Jon Moxley ended in such a pussy way, with Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley taking the electrocution of the ring. It just looked terrible. And then this looked bad. The falling off the cage looked bad.
It didn't even look. I mean, I like that he like did it because Chris Jericho is one of my favorite all time. But when he fell, you're like, okay, this is bullshit. At least when
it
Shane,
didn't look. Yeah, the production of it didn't look like it hurt. And I don't want Chris Jericho to take a hard bump and get hurt, but I want it to look a little bit more menacing. You lose the illusion of, I mean, we all know wrestling is staged and scripted, but you kind of lose that illusion when the bump looks so weak. But the show itself was really great. AEW is good week in and week out. I'm invested in all the stories that they're telling. The champion Kenny Omega is so fucking awesome, dude. Kenny Omega is Kyle's such a fucking pussy, but Kenny Omega is amazing.
Yeah,
I love that he's holding all the belts.
I love Kenny. Yeah, I love that too. I love that he's just fucking holding the belts. I wish Vince would just take the cork out of his ass and start working with these other companies. That's the only way people are going to get invested.
Imagine this. Imagine like the Forbidden Door opens on all ways for every company, and WWE decides they want to work with, AEW, Impact, New Japan, Ring of Honor. And imagine like WrestleMania still being the biggest card of them all, because it truly is the biggest card of them all. Yeah. So like imagine just wrestlers from all over coming in on a WrestleMania card, wrestling WWE wrestlers. That would be like such a super mega card that like people are going to be invested in. Now, I think there's problems with like working with another company that's on a different network, like because AEW's on TNT and WWE's on USA and Fox. So I think that's where the issue lies. I'm not 100%, but they do need to open up and work with other companies. It would make the product more entertaining. And like I would like imagine a Reigns and Kenny Omega. Imagine Reigns winning both Universal and WWE titles. I think that would be amazing if instead of Reigns dropping one of them, have him win both of them, and he has all the gold in WWE, and then you have Omega winning all the titles around the world. Omega's winning around the world, not just in the US. So like, I mean, if you have Omega and Reigns in a big WrestleMania match and a stacked card, and you bring Cody in, you bring, Darby Allin in, and you just make an amazing card, it's undeniable. It would be every wrestling fan's wet dream.
Bro, yes. I mean, I like, oh my gosh. Like just thinking about it just gives me a boner. And like, to be honest, that's like to me, that's the only way they save WWE TV, unless Vince dies, unfortunately. But I just feel like that's the only way. Like I wasn't too like big on AEW when it first started because I was obviously a big WWE cocksucker. Mm-hmm. But I started getting more invested. They were taking real chair shots. They were fucking bleeding, the blood's back and everything like that. And then, people from Impact are coming over. You got Kenny going to Impact. You got Jon Moxley winning the United States title all the way in New World Japan, all this kind of shit. And I'm just like, You're like, wow, I fucking love this.
You know, like a wrestling company can do this. Wow, like why don't they do it?
Yeah, like why? And then you're like, well, WWE let 90% of these guys go, and they're fucking soaring in AEW and in Impact. I'm like, what? Like Big Cass, for example, he just joined Impact. Like, why?
He's gonna do well.
Why the fuck did you let him? Like, why keep a guy like Braun Strowman and let go of a guy like Big Cass?
I think Big Cass was a lot of attitude problems. Him and Enzo like really pissed people off.
Who gives a
regardless, fuck? I think he had some issues too with some substances, but
maybe.
You know.
But like to me, Big Cass and Enzo on TV, that was like my favorite tag.
They were
team.
money. Yeah, they were money.
I went to a Royal Rumble when they were in San Antonio, and Enzo coming out doing SA. I was all into it. I was up off my seat, and then they got cut. And or when they broke them up, I was like, just like Peyton Royce and Billy Kay. Why the fuck are you breaking up your biggest tag teams? Your tag team division is shit already, and you're just breaking them up. Like, oh, I have a love-hate relationship for WWE.
But anyway, yeah, me too, dude. Me too. I love the nostalgia and I'm an old school WWE fan.
Yeah.
I like the older pay-per-views and the older eras. Not so much the current stuff, and AEW's got me covered on that. For current stuff, I'm watching AEW. I'm an AEW fan, and that's who I go to. And to talk about the blood and guts match a little bit, it was a fucking awesome match, dude. Like, regardless of the shitty finish, those dudes went at it. There was a point in the match where Sammy Guevara and I think it was one of the guys in FTR. I forget which one it was, but they did like a Spanish fly off of the ropes because the rings were right next to each other. There's two rings.
Yeah.
And they like were teetering on the ropes, and they did a Spanish fly off one. And I was like, Jesus Christ. The AEW just has way more reigns of doing like actual wrestling moves, and then the WWE is a little slower.
And I love Sammy.
And that's just what I like to see. I like to see the wrestler. I mean, a lot of people call them spot monkeys, and they just do like big spots, but I like seeing that. Like, that's what I think is more entertaining than the story-based WWE products. So
I love Sammy.
Sammy's awesome.
I know Matt Hardy's old, but I love seeing Matt all the time. I wish they would bring back his broken, but obviously,
he's doing good things without it. But AEW is just, I think AEW, if you're not a wrestling fan, or if you are, I think AEW is the place you need to watch wrestling right now. I think it's a better product.
Speaking about AEW, they're actually coming to Texas.
Yeah, they're going to Houston, I think, or Dallas. One of them.
So they're going to be in Cedar Park, Texas, on July 14th. Then they're going to be in Garland, Texas, July 21st. So, I mean,
I'm trying to go, dude. If you're trying to go,
I'm down. Kyle, are you? Well, he just left.
Oh, he fucking left.
What a douche. We don't leave during his segments. Yeah, but man,
we got to pile drive him.
Yeah, we do. I'm getting like more and more interested and like hooked on AEW. Like, the TV is so good, and most of the times I can't watch it because I work, but I have the notifications on Twitter. I watch the highlights on YouTube, and I love the Young Bucks. Like,
Young Bucks are awesome, man.
I love the Young Bucks. I loved it when they were having their little like 2-week feud with Hardy's before they came back at the WrestleMania. Those matches were great. I love the Young Bucks. AEW is just taking over. Like, I know a lot of people
breath of fresh air.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, this is like WCW versus WWE. I hope not, because WWE
I don't think so.
Is going to lose if that ends up happening.
I don't think so. I think AEW's culture is just way more accepting and way more like wrestler friendly, like for the talent.
Yeah.
And it's not as corporate as WWE is. But we'll see, man. I'm rooting for AEW.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's kind of bringing back like what was going on like back in the day with the WWE. You're seeing the chair shots, you're seeing the blood, you're seeing the cuss words. It's not PG-13. Like, once WWE turned PG, like, that's when it started going downhill a little bit. I miss hearing the cuss words. I miss seeing the panty matches, of course.
I think WWE's demo is just not really trying to reach like my age group right now. And
nope.
And I think they're more content on, the younger audience, and that's fine. I'll just, I'll continue to watch WWE. I'll talk shit about it the entire time. But AEW is pretty much for my age group, I guess.
Sheesh. Did you watch the Broken Skull segment with Jericho?
I didn't. I watched like a clip of it here and there, but I didn't actually listen to the whole podcast, which was really interesting. I mean, that's like kind of the only hidden door or forbidden door that we've gotten from AEW and WWE. The only collaboration we've really gotten.
So when Goldberg beat Kevin Owens, I don't know, I forgot what paper. It was like right before WrestleMania when they had Goldberg versus Brock. Apparently, it was supposed to be in the main event, Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens for the championship for WrestleMania.
Yeah, they had a great thing going. They had a really good program going with Jericho and Owens for a while there. So
that's like the main reason he said he left. And he said the reason he's never going to come back is because he's not going to be able to do what he wants to do. That's why he loves AEW. But yeah, I know Kyle's getting a little bored of our WWE talk.
Are you reading the quotes on your phone right now to your left? Okay, I was like looking. He was like, yeah, he says.
I'm messing with this. Oh fuck, I'm messing with a Gatorade bottle.
Okay. I was like, he's like sources say, and he's like looking at what just left.
No, I watched the podcast.
Did y'all watch the Canelo fight?
I didn't, but I watched the highlights.
Josh, you
didn't watch the Canelo fight. I watched. There was like a UFC fight night that was fucking garbage that I watched instead.
It was fun. I watch big boxing matches. I'm not like a real, in-depth fan, but I love watching Canelo fight. It was a really good one. Saunders is undefeated. And it was supposed to be a blowout, and the betting odds were hugely swaying in Canelo's favor, and it almost paid off for anyone that went Saunders. He had a really good fight. And if it weren't for that one shot that basically shattered his cheekbone, the judges' cards, I think, were a little more Canelo favored than I think they should have been. Saunders looked really close. And when the cards came out after the KO, it was pretty heavily swayed to Canelo, and I disagreed with that. But it was a fun fight. I like it. Next fight will be Canelo and Caleb Plant, hopefully. And so, I'm familiar with Plant to some extent, so that should be a good fight as well.
Yeah.
Anything else on fighting?
I enjoyed during the UFC fight night there. I don't even know who the fighters were, but Herb Dean was the fucking referee, and this guy got a late shot in right after the bell, super hard too, wasn't defended, and he goes, and they pick it up on the pay-per-view. He goes like, "Hey motherfucker, that was late." It was so funny. It made my day. That's it.
Any notable fights in that night at all?
Cowboy pretty much got his ass beat.
Did he really?
Yeah. Cowboy.
Sad.
Got lit
it's
up.
Time.
And the main event was good. The main event was fine.
I thought that UFC 262 was this weekend.
That was like the running thing. We were going to talk about UFC 262 on this show, and I was like, Kyle.
And I was like, damn, how am I going to watch the Canelo and the UFC main events? And I was like, how am I going to figure this out? And then, you were like, isn't it next weekend? I was like, oh my god, you're right.
I was so excited. I got off work early and everything for you.
Next weekend we'll talk about UFC 262. I'm excited for that.
Sweet.
Cool, guys. All right. Well, if that is all for you on the Pile Driver, Randy.
Yeah, we've been done, sir. Are you gonna call Wicked Ways, or what are you gonna do, my friend?
So we're gonna go get some tattoos today.
Hopefully.
We're gonna get a couple of Mother's Day tattoos on the day after Mother's Day. Yeah, we're gonna go get tattoos like right now. Hopefully.
Of what?
I'm gonna get like a traditional mom tattoo. Like it's like this flower design that says mom under it.
Okay.
And Randy's gonna get on my forearm, like right here.
On your titties?
Look, I'll show the podcast. It's
you
like
to turn off your filter.
It's a pretty basic one. Are you sure?
Yeah, I can't see shit.
Yeah, turns out I am.
Why don't you ever listen to me?
Let me turn this off. Yeah, Randy, and then Randy's gonna get
stuck as a bunny.
I'm still gonna be a bunny. I'll just show you guys through that. That's what I'm gonna get.
Oh, nice.
Look at the bunny. You can still see the bunny like in the background.
I'm gonna get reckless takes.
Oh yeah, Randy.
He's gonna get Damian Lillard
Randy was
portrait
like,
on his fucking arm.
"Is that a bathroom filter? What is that filter?
What?
Is this what's the background that you're using? Oh, is that your actual background?
You fucking
Oh,
cock.
okay. Well, it looks like you're in a fucking prison cell. All right, guys.
I just can't believe you're such a bully, dog. I can't believe this shit right now.
The end of this
You just
podcast
stay
went like completely
bully.
off the rails. All right, guys. If you're still listening, 1, I'm sorry. 2, please rate,
Why are you
subscribe. I'm just kidding.
3
Please,
why?
Rate, subscribe, and give us any feedback.
4, I love y'all.
And stay reckless, boys.
Stay reckless.